Good morning again, guys. All right, so not news. This is going to be specifically prepping, and this is going to get in depth, hence the reason I titled it Next Level Prepping. It's stuff that I read things about, I think about, I go back to my Army training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and think about how those types of organizations or that way of thinking is something that we need to implement as soon as possible. Okay, this is taking it a next step up. Now, I think you all agree with me. I'd be hard pressed to find anybody that doesn't. Is there is say when I say this, there is no way in the world you are going to be able to prep for everything. You are not going to be able to get all the equipment, all the gear that you potentially could need. And you are not going to become an expert in every skill that you think you need. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to go out and learn blacksmithing, welding, auto repair, small engine repair, whatever, and every single one and become an expert in it. Okay. So the first thing you want to look at, and this is definitely something along the lines of your mag, your tribe, your group, your family, whatever would be. Okay. Again, if you're trying to do this as a lone wolf, you only need one prep, and that's a shovel, because you can dig yourself your 6 foot hole and that's it. You're going to have to organize what's going on. And this is what I say. Let's say you have a group, let's say you're a family of four. Okay. We're going to go small here. And I'm not saying young children, I'm saying people with financial means. Okay. So you've got mom and dad and two adult children or whatever it is, somebody that has some sort of disposable income to prep with. You should have, at a minimum, somebody who's responsible for food and cooking, somebody else who's responsible for weaponry and security, somebody else who is responsible for clothing, any sort of logistics that you would need. Okay. And then, of course, you're going to need somebody who's in charge of personnel because you're going to add people to your group. It's inevitable. Okay. There's just the basics. So I say this, and let's start with something really simple. Let's say that it's you and your neighbor, for example. Okay. And your little next door neighbor house is your meg, and each one of you guys are preppers, and each one of you grow a garden. What's the point of each one of the families growing a plot of tomatoes and a plot of green beans and a plot of cabbage and a plot of beets? Why do you have two small plots? Why? This is how you talk about organization. Okay. One family should be responsible for growing all the tomatoes and all the beans, the other responsible for all the cabbages and all the beets. And I'm just using that as a very simple idea, okay? Because it's easier to manage one large plot than two small plots. So something like that to think about to start, okay? But what more importantly I want to get into on this one is uniformity between the group. All right. And I'm going to give you this as an idea. And I mentioned the book Patriots the other day, and it was good. It's a good read. There was something in there that I read that really got me thinking. Now, if I ask y'all what the definition of uniform is, the first thing that is going to come into your head is clothing that somebody wears. Okay, whether it's a baseball uniform, a military uniform, a nursing uniform, whatever it would be. Okay, that's one definition. Uniform means everybody the same. Okay, is we call a uniform, but it means the same. So what about uniformity amongst your group? This could be very important. And let's start with the clothing aspect, okay? People think about, oh, I'm going to buy a camo uniform. Okay, Army BDUs or Army ACUs. Go to any military surplus store and you can pick up a bunch of them, right? Here's the thing. You can pick up a bunch of them, and so can Tom, Dick, and Harry, everybody out in your neighborhood too. How do you determine who's friend and who's foe if you're all wearing the same thing? Okay? If you think, let's go back to the Revolutionary War. You had the redcoats. Why did the British Army wear redcoats? Because at a distance, they could tell if somebody was friend or foe. If they were all wearing red coats, literally, okay, from a mile away, you saw a whole bunch of people running around in red. You knew that was, the Brits knew those were friendly forces, okay? If they saw a bunch of ragtag people who weren't wearing red, they knew those were enemy forces. This is something that could be very important in an SHTF situation to you as well. Now, are you going to go out and buy, and again, depending on your area, what is going to be your MAG clothing uniform? Are you going to get Army BDUs, Army ACUs? Did you decide, hey, you want to buy tiger stripes or desert camo or something? And again, depends on where you are. A desert camo is not exactly what I'm going to buy for me here. And, forestry camo is not something you're going to buy if you live in Las Vegas. So, obviously, again, you're looking at the right side of things. But everybody in the group should have the same uniform for any time they are outside of the AO, your area of operations, your house, whatever it would be. Because at a distance, I want to see if somebody's all of a sudden running toward me, okay? Are they friend or foe? Because I don't want to figure that out when they're 50 yards away when I finally recognize the face. I want to be able to see them 500 yards away when I see somebody running toward me and go, oh, that's an enemy, pop. Okay, a lot more time. Now, of course, I'm not saying go out and buy something or whatever it is, but it needs to be agreed upon. If the agreed upon clothing uniform is going to be black t-shirt, black pants, black boots, great. Then if somebody's wearing all black, chances are, it's not 100% fail-safe because obviously anybody can put anything on, that they are going to be friendly versus foe when you see somebody in all black running towards you. Now, let's say you want to take it a step up to, like I said, Army BDUs, ACUs, whatever. Change something. Okay? If you're wearing BDU blouse, BDU pants, what are most people going to wear? Are they going to wear black boots? Are they going to wear brown boots? Okay? Do the opposite. Instead of wearing the camouflage cap, maybe put a black ball cap on, or maybe get a black bush hat. Something that's different, something that the enemy is not going to think about, and not going to be that easily accessible. If you see somebody now in BDUs running towards you with a black bush hat on, and somebody chasing them in all BDUs with no black bush hat on, you know who's friend and who's foe at a distance, okay? Something like that. Things to think about. Let's talk about weaponry, all right? We all have our choice weaponry, okay? And I'm going to use this for example because this is always the big topic. You have 50% of the people that are AR guys and 50% of the people that are AK guys, all right? What is the standard weapon that your mag uses? You should have one, or you should have multiple ones, okay? Here's why. Let's say 2 of you are out on guard duty, patrolling the perimeter of whatever area you own, whatever it would be. You're patrolling your territory. And one of you's carrying an AR and one of you's carrying an AK. And all of a sudden you get ambushed by a platoon of 15 people. First thing, of course, you're going to do is radio in back to your CQ, your charge of quarters, and say, get everybody up and running. We're being attacked. Okay, simple as that. But in the meantime, in that first couple of minutes, it's going to be up to the 2 of you who are out on guard duty to hold back those invading forces until the rest of the group shows up. This is why I say, having a mag with somebody who's half an hour away is useless. Okay. We're under attack. Great, I'll be there with my shovel to bury you, because I'm not going to be able to help you. But so the 2 of you are out there. And again, if you want to use movies, for example, how many times have you seen in a movie where somebody says, I'm out of ammo, and the other guy tosses him a magazine? Try doing that with an AR and an AK. They don't fit. So if the guy with the AK still got 3 magazines full and the guy with the AR is empty, guess what? The guy with the AR just gets to sit and watch the whole firefight. And chances are you're going to lose. One guy against whatever's left of a platoon is not good odds. Okay? Standardization, in a lot of respects, is very important. This is why any military in the world has a standard uniform, a standard weapon, because it's all interchangeable. Okay? How many spare parts do you have? Do you want to go out and buy spare parts for AR-15s? Or, let's say you have 3 extra bolt carriers. Those are your spare parts. That's all you got. Okay? You're starting out, that's what you got, just in case. You got 3 bolt carriers for the AR-15. The AK guy's weapon malfunctions, breaks, whatever it is, bends, however it would be. Sorry, we don't have parts for your weapon. That weapon's now useless. Okay? But with the spare parts for the AR-15 in my example here, they'll fit any of them. Okay? So if anybody's breaks, you got something. There's a lot of different things that we need to think about at the next level. Prepping is a lot of preppers, and I've said this many times, think, oh gee, I've got my electricity, I've got my food, I'm going to sit on the porch and watch the world collapse around me and everything's going to be fine and dandy. Nobody's going to touch me. There's nothing farther from the truth on something like that. If you're the one who's got electricity, if you're the one who's got the food, you're going to be the first one attacked. You're not going to be left alone, okay? You will need to have that sort of organization pre-established, so when it does come to your doorstep, you're ready. The time to figure this out is not when the Chinese come over the hill, is not when the blue helmets are standing at every street corner saying you can't pass. Again, there's a reason that the Chinese all use the same weapons and have the same uniforms, and there's a reason that the UN all wears blue helmets, okay, so they can identify each other. Just saying, okay? You need to play on those same terms. Military ideals have been established over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of years. And the ones that are good continue on over and over and over and over and over. The ones that are bad eventually fall by the wayside. There's no need to try to reinvent the wheel, guys. It's learning a little bit about the history and knowing a little bit about the standards and putting them into play for your own group. I know this is next level stuff, but I also would say I think we're starting to get into or looking at a next level SHTF event right around the corner. Pinball out.